Hello, everyone, and welcome to Midgard RPG. My name is Hikaru, and we're here today with Titans Air, our DM Dave Omiria game. And this is Earl, who is still begging for attention, despite all the attention I gave him before we went live.
Such a good boy.
Correct.
Before I have these guys introduce themselves, I would like to briefly thank our sponsors. Roll20.net has been our sponsor for over a year now, and they are a great tabletop solution online for your games. If you cannot play in person or have friends all over the world like we do, it is a great way to play games while still being at home. Could you please? I love you too. So check it out. It is free and has some premium features, but for the most part, you can play without paying anything at all. So it costs you nothing to check it out and see if you like it. So thank you to Roll20. And these are my players.
I'm Matt. I'm playing Ziri, the Firbolg Druid.
Suppose it would be me next. I'm Sho. I'm playing Copper7119, the Hollowed Warforged.
Hi, I'm Zayo. I'm playing Ashanti. She is an Umbral Lurker Warlock and a half-elf.
I'm Nina. I'm playing Tan, who is a halfling fighter.
Shao, playing Sunbrex. They are half elf, halfling, and they are a rogue who really wants to be a ranger.
Excellent. I almost forgot to unmute myself. Great. So I think it's only been 2 weeks. Do you guys remember what happened last session?
The lights went out.
Yep, the lights went out, and we were blamed naturally.
Of course.
Zen brought,
Outsiders.
Zen brought the gnome to the tribe with Buddha because Buddha likes him and she vouches for him. And he becomes a serpent whisperer, so we can't technically kill him.
I mean,
he was off the island and has convinced us to go find the orb thing that the captain buried somewhere.
Yep.
I remember that much.
The distress
Which is pretty
beacon.
much it. Yeah.
Because we have to turn that off.
Secondary too.
Yeah, we have to turn it off because we don't want the military to come.
Yeah. That distress beacon needs to be turned off.
And if it's the other automaton, it might need to be destroyed.
Plus, he was thinking he might be able to use that for his escape plan, or part of it at least.
I mean, we don't know where the crystal itself is buried. We just know the distress beacon is by the crash site still. We don't know where he hid the crystal itself.
Yeah, he didn't tell anyone where it was, but I think you guys had thought that perhaps the distress signal was being powered by it and would lead you to it.
It couldn't be too far from it, yeah.
So you guys were deciding to leave the village also because help, break up the tension of some people accusing you that you had. I mean, to be fair, you guys show up and this light that's been on since before they can remember suddenly turns off and never turns back on again. Clearly, it's because you guys were doing magic and that broke the light somehow.
Not the sudden arrival of the gnome. But
yeah,
who's been there for 2 months? We've been there for 2 months.
2 to 3 months, yeah.
The gnome shows up, the lights go off, but we're the ones in trouble.
To be fair, if Copper had thought of that, he probably would have been like, well, it was fine until he came.
Not everybody hates us. Like, we did kind of make like a solid ally from all the favor gathering we've been doing this time.
Yep.
Yeah, luckily you guys weren't kicked out of the village. You were not so much absolved as they believe you for now and are, letting you still live there. But you decided that maybe going to the crash site and making sure that the distress signal was turned off would be a good idea. And as you prepared to leave that day, and then setting out the next morning, as you're heading just out of town, you find Tahaku sitting on a fallen branch, staring at the five of you and Orner with a very disapproving look. Where exactly are you all headed?
Out. They kind of don't like us right now.
And we figured that we'd give them a bit of time to cool off.
That's what you're doing, but where are you going?
Does it matter?
Yes, it does. You asked me yesterday about the distress beacon.
Yes.
You're not going anywhere near it, are you?
I mean, we don't exactly know where you left it.
That is true. You realize that distress beacon is our only way off the island.
If you tell us where it is, we'll be sure not to go anywhere near there.
Wow. That's...
I think not. I'm especially troubled that you're bringing that thing with you, and he points to Orner.
I will point out, last time we left him in your hands to keep an eye on, he disappeared.
We can stay in the village. I'm sure there'll be plenty of eyes.
He's kind of proven himself that he can at least speak the language. He saw another person or something while we were going out one day and we were going to go investigate. Figure we'd bring him along to translate, if nothing else. Keep an eye on him, secondly.
And thirdly, maybe to teach a bit of the language, or at least give practice. I'm almost there.
That is kind of a partial truth, because you guys did say you wanted to check that place out. I'll let you choose, Nina, between a deception or a persuasion.
I think any of those are very good, but we'll try.
Yeah. Likewise. Would Nina have advantage on that, since we're all kind of...
Sure, you all did kind of help.
Cool.
Sure.
Thank God it's not
I've
me
been
who's trying to do
dissembling here.
this.
Kind of feel bad I didn't roll that.
Well, you weren't
I
the one
wouldn't-
doing most of the
I
talking,
know.
so...
I just feel bad.
If you had to choose between Tam and Copper trying to do this, I would not recommend Copper.
Does Tahaku speak any languages that I speak and Orner doesn't?
Far as you know, Tahaku only speaks common. So no. He looks suspicious still and kind of feels there's something you're not telling him, and it's true. Yeah. Fine, then I'm coming with you.
Are you okay leaving your friend here by herself?
Ifuna has made herself very friendly with the people in the village. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Okay.
She is, after all, a human female, and they seem to like that in the village.
And she can talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
It is true. Of all of us, I think Ifune would suffer the least if she had to stay here for the rest of her life. And I already packed my bag, so you don't have to wait for me. And he grabs his bag, and you see that, like, there is this, like, little hutch on the top, and the bunny is inside.
Yay.
I love that so much. Thank you.
Me too.
Priorities.
Did we ever find out whether or not he named them?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Ah, so you're committed to it now.
I
Have you
don't
given
know.
it a name?
He probably just calls it Bunny.
Rude.
Not really.
That's
I'm gonna point out, Sho, my mother grew up with a cat named Cat. This isn't unheard
Yeah.
of.
yeah, I know. Doesn't make it any less unimaginative.
Coming from Copper, who, probably would also name it Bunny.
No, Copper would probably name it Rabbit 2. You need to have
I
a
don't
number
want to
there.
know where the 2 comes from.
Yeah, he
It was
already
the
saw
second-
one.
Yeah, it was the second rabbit that Copper saw.
Alright, so you all set out, and you are... What pace are you having?
A regular pace?
So not fast, just normal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to miss anything, and we also don't want to make it seem like we're in a rush.
Okay.
Or attract anything dangerous.
Yep.
Alright, so that lets you do 4 hexes per day,
Mhm.
and who's doing the navigating?
Our ranger, of course.
That is
Alright, so you're going through forests.
survival.
Yep, survival.
See? This is why our ranger navigates.
Wow, starting strong. All right, so first day goes by without getting lost.
Uh-oh. That's either really good or really bad.
As you're making camp, the location where you're making camp seems to have been the nesting place of a snake. And you all hear it mainly because of Tahaku crying out as the snake goes to attack the bunny.
No.
No!
No!
Stop.
Sword.
Yeah, like Kiri's like using his B speech to saying, nope, it's not food for you. Back off.
Oh my god, the poisonous snake token is just... I'm not going to make this an actual thing because I only rolled 1 snake. And there are so many of you, but look at that good boy.
It's so cute! I want to boop the snoot!
Oh my god, me too!
We'll
Get
boop
those
your finger.
Yeah, he will absolutely do your finger. And he has only 1 attack and 2 hit points, so...
God, Blip could kill him.
Yeah, we'll do Ziri, give me a animal handling. Or I guess a persuade. Well, animal handling worked fine.
Yeah, although persuasion he would have had advantage on, I think, right?
Yeah, I think between
Yeah.
the sudden reaction of everyone grabbing their weapons and Ziri being like, no, this is not for you, the snake's like, but this is my turn.
Yep.
Alright, guess I'll let you guys sleep here for tonight. Slithers off.
Oh, I feel bad.
One tiny. They are tiny beasts. They're not even medium sized. They are tiny. How did I roll only one? I'm curious now. How, like, what roll is that? Because most of the encounters are a roll.
Karu, how many could you have rolled?
That's what I'm looking up. Oh, 1d4. That seems like
I thought you. What was that for then?
to see at what time of day it happened. I roll for an encounter during the day.
Okay.
And I don't know if I think we went over this before, but just in case, a reminder that while we're traveling, we are rolling with a week is a long rest, so you don't regain your skills and things at the end of the day. Just to because while you're traveling, it's a bit harder to. So the long rest you have at the end of the day when you stop is the equivalent of a short rest. So you don't have all your stuff every single time you have one encounter a day. Okay, so first day, and you guys traveled directly west?
Avoiding the part that had the dinosaur footprint.
I mean, that's
the black
where you
area.
went. Yeah, that's the black area to the north.
Well, like I said, we were avoiding that, so.
Hi, cat. Why did you do this? Alright. Well, you all have a rest and continue the next day, and Zenbrix. So this day is going to be passing the abandoned monastery. Are you crossing through the monastery, or are you going north to the mountains or south to the beach?
Take the beach way, right?
You
Well,
take the
we
beach?
did say that we wanted to go looking.
Acme
for...
might be there.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Last time you guys went to the mountains because
Yeah.
you were going to Goliath, but
I meant last time we also were planning, or this time we said we were going to look for the people that we saw along the way.
But that's
That
this
was
way.
That was to the mountains, though.
Yeah, that was this way.
Yeah.
Right, so we would go north.
That's what I meant. North, not the
Okay.
beach.
yeah, you saw that just as you were getting to the mountain area.
Mhm.
Right.
So it was there-ish.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, so towards the mountains. All right, so roll your navigation check. Okay. So you go and reach the point where this is the same area, and like you've managed to find the same cave that you stayed at the last time when you were going to Goliath. And you know that the ridge of this area was where you had first spotted the other people,
Mhm.
and climbing this mountain and on the other side was where you suspected there might be some kind of other camp or something. You're not sure. You just know that you saw other people that were not females that were dressed in the Serpent Whisperer style. So let me roll to see if something interesting happens today.
So because I'm navigating, I can't also perceive if anyone's like following me, or if Man and Agni are around. Is anyone else doing that? Or-
Yeah, someone else would have to.
Yeah, I
Well-
wouldn't mind trying. Can't say how well I'd do.
I mean, I would like to try and find signs of Agni specifically. I want to find the kid.
Nope.
Okay.
I clicked.
Someday.
It's being slow.
Happens.
Yep.
Okay. Far as you guys can tell, you're not being followed, and there are no signs of Agni. You guys do run, however, into an ape that is that while you guys stop for lunch, goes to steal some of your rations, some of your food.
An ape.
Yep.
I Eldritch blasted its feet. It's like, no!
I'll take out my dream sword and just kind of like and turn to stare at it.
Yeah, I don't deliberately hit it. I aim at its feet. So it's like, no, no coming forward. Leave her stuff alone.
The ape. Let me see. How good are you at sneaking?
Oh,
Pretty good. So by the time you guys spot it, it already has a like small satchel where you had like a bunch of dried fruit in it, and it lets out a screech as you Eldritch blast it and runs off with the bag.
Fine then, I'll shoot it in the head then.
Oh boy.
I mean,
Listen, it's taking our
it
shit.
stole. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Roll for it.
Oh, trees are in the way.
It is so lucky because that was one under its armor class.
Oh, well,
You hear it give out a screech of terror as the Eldritch Blast hits the tree right beside its head, and it drops the bag as it scrambles into the treetops.
I'm just gonna walk over and pick up the bag and then come back with it. It's so lucky that it dropped that bag because I was gonna use Vengeful Spirit on it.
Honestly, I was just gonna send Blip after it. Blip probably could have killed it with one poison sting.
No, I don't know. It's an ape. It's not a snake.
That poison
Yeah.
is terrifying.
It's true.
Yeah, but
Apes have a bit more HP though. Probably could have survived a sting. Probably wouldn't survive necessarily 2 stings, but you know.
Oh,
Um,
also, I will say, at some point during the day, Blip reappears just relaxing on my head, but I don't acknowledge it at all. I'm just waiting for Tahaku to notice him.
you're
I thought
mean.
Tahaku had already seen
Nope.
him.
Nope, Tahaku
That
has
was
not
Ifune.
seen Blip.
That was Ifune.
Yep.
Because remember, this is number 9.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, Blip
Yeah, it
was
was number 9.
she's very superstitious.
Because she was gonna leave if we didn't have the number 9.
Tahaku just kind of stares at you. What is what you have a thing on your head.
I do? I just look up and Blip disappears. I look back at Tahaku and Blip reappears. I don't see anything.
I think that's called
Oh
hair.
wow. I think that's called gaslighting, but okay.
But yes, that too. But
You're gonna be in so much trouble when we get back to the mainland.
oh, why?
Because of her magic.
Yeah, you've already seen it. That's why I don't mind hiding it. I don't feel like hiding it from you.
That's why you went to Goliath.
I mean, partially.
Though we went to Goliath to actually gain a bit of goodwill.
That too. It was a combination of multiple things.
You needed spell components.
Yep.
Fascinating. I assume no one else in the village knows of it.
Ifune does. It's the only reason she didn't leave the village.
I was wondering about that. You people are weird.
Did the talking automaton not clue you into that?
You know,
Oh,
you
I
can go back. You can go back if you want.
Yeah, it's just a couple days that way.
No,
Yourself.
this just gives me more reason to go with you. Keep an eye on all of you, not just that gnome.
Why
I'm
would you
just
say
gonna
that?
mutter.
I don't trust you.
I'm just gonna mutter.
After
under my
all
breath.
this time, I'm hurt.
Ouch.
Wounded, even.
I'm just gonna mutter under my breath. I don't know who I want to lose more. And I'm gonna mutter it in Gnomish.
Oh, you know that?
I know Gnomish, Dwarvish, and now Draconic.
Amazing.
Yeah, he knows the languages of the people who made him.
Uh-huh. And then the one of the people that I learned from.
Fair enough.
All right, so you guys have your long rest there, and what are you doing in the morning?
I guess going up to the ridge.
Yeah. Maybe get to a higher point and try and see if we spot anything.
Where did Orner say that the thing he was looking for was?
Way to the north, past Goliath.
Okay. I mean, we have to go in that direction vaguely anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you have two options. It's a bit quicker if you go via the coast. Maybe not necessarily quicker, but easier because the coast has less trees to get lost in.
Mm-hmm. And also less kobolds, I'm sure.
All right, so you climb the ridge, and that's going to be like, I think it was like an hour to climb up to the top of the ridge. And you're all peering out to the other side where you see dense forest comes up to the base of the ridge where you initially saw the other people. Why don't you all give me perception checks?
Ooh. Maybe I'll do better this time. I did. I'm not a torch, but I did. Wow.
Okay. You don't see any signs of people. Whether that's because you just are missing them or because there are none in this particular moment, you're not sure. Tahaku notices everyone peering desperately down the ridge and goes, "So is this where you thought people were located?"
It's
Not
where
thought, we
people.
saw them.
Also, whoops, shit! Whereby why?
Shallow!
Wasn't my fault. Whereby decided to boot me.
Let me just fix everyone's cams.
Hey, could you not?
But one.
Earl says
Why?
hi.
He just wants attention.
Very affectionate today.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
is.
He has
Because
been
we're
for the
on
last
cam.
few days, honestly.
Do we want to go down and investigate?
Yep. Also, Orner has been very quiet. I'm pretty surprised. We didn't lose him, did we?
No, he's still there. He just doesn't have much to say. He's out of his element too, so he's depending on you guys. I mean, he did survive in the forest apparently on his own, but
That was because of the motorcycle.
yeah, the motorcycle
totally.
helped a lot. Fuck that neighbor.
Always.
He likes to show off that he's got that motorcycle and just likes revving it every time he's in this area. It doesn't help that this area echoes so much because of all the buildings.
That's probably why he likes it.
Yeah. All right, so Tahaku looks around. He doesn't seem to spot anything, but he does seem curious. He's like, well, I did overhear in the village that there is apparently another, I don't know if you'd call it a village, but a group of escaped men.
I didn't think you spoke Draconic.
No, Fune told me.
Ah, so you didn't hear it.
Word gets around.
Details.
Smirk.
Did they say where, or do they not know?
They don't know. Apparently, Ifune mentioned that they wanted to find it because they wanted to destroy the camp.
Well, that's just rude.
But if the camp is in this area, I can see why they haven't found it yet. We should go and see what we can learn from these people then. And he starts going down the slope to the other side of the ridge.
Which direction exactly is he moving, like, would you say?
Towards the east.
So
So you guys
straight
climb
east?
the ridge. Yeah.
Into the territory of don't go there?
I'm.
Uh,
Copper is like. You might not want to go that direction.
yeah.
Why not?
We said we wanted to look for them. That's
Yeah. But he's going
If you
in
saw
the direction.
people here, then there must be people here.
This is where we saw big stompy things.
Yeah, we saw a
On this
footprint
side
as
of the
big as
ridge?
you.
Or was that closer to the village?
Oh yeah.
Somewhere around. Ash just motions in the vague
General
direction.
area.
Mhm.
That's unexplored
Well,
area
then we'll
for
have to
us.
keep an eye out.
I think we can. If we're careful. Won't
And
go
agree
too
to run
deep.
away, if need be.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
Just have to run faster. I'm sure T-Rexes aren't that fast.
Little
Ka-
halfling with
Karu.
tiny legs is not really happy about that plan.
Yeah. There are at least half this group that have tinier legs, even if one of them is still faster than most of us.
Oh wow, they're big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to look, cause I know.
I don't even know the stats of a D&D T-Rex. I just know a shit ton about
Oh, I do.
dinosaurs.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, you don't need to know about the D&D version if you know about.
I mean,
The D&D version. Yeah. There's a.
I mean, to be fair, a T-Rex is big enough that you can probably see it before it sees you if you're sneaky enough. Possibly.
I'm using Jurassic Park for a reference. They can run down a jeep, but they can't chase down a woman wearing high heels for some reason.
I will point out a couple things. One, that was the same T-Rex, so I'm going to point out Rexy was really freaking old by that point. Probably couldn't move fast. And second of all, for the most part, T-Rexes were more of scavengers than actual hunters. They
Yep.
yeah, like, they didn't need to run
They
very
shouldn't
much.
have gone for either of them.
But yeah, I will point out Rexy was really old by the time Jurassic World came out. Because it was the same T-Rex.
Didn't
That's what we'll call movie
realize that.
movie physics.
Snack.
All right. Well, so what are you doing?
I mean, I guess we'll have to go that direction, vaguely. Keeping our eyes peeled for big footprints to avoid, and then, bigger
Mhm.
things that make those footprints.
Okay. Well, on the ridge itself, you don't see any.
Cool.
And so you go to the other side, reach the tree line, and I'll give you guys another. You can either do a perception check if you're looking around, or you can do an investigation check
Oh,
if you
thank
want to like
God.
study the ground and look for clues.
That's okay. I thought I was doing well until
I think
everybody
you-
else rolled.
I
You
think
reach
we're
the
paranoid.
forest, and everyone is suddenly very alert. Let's see. Ow. Could you not, cat? You don't see any big footprints of a possibly chicken-looking huge lizard. What you do see is footprints, humanoid footprints, most of them either barefoot or in some kind of light foot covering. So no like shoe steps. And Ziri, further into the forest, you also spot what looks like a crude but effective snare for catching animals.
I'll point that out to everybody. Can I tell if it was like, the kobolds might have made it based on what we've seen about them? I think we've run into at least one of those.
It could be made by kobolds. It could be made by something else. It's kind of hard to tell from just a snare because the snare is pretty simple. It's just a piece of, in this case, like vine threaded to make rope.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, if they are here, hiding, one, that's pretty gutsy considering how close they are to the main village, but at the same time, they don't go to this area.
Yeah, that's probably why they decided to hide here.
Let's try looking.
Mm-hmm.
Are
So-
you hiding?
I mean,
Being stealthy?
Yes.
Yeah, I
as
think
much
so.
as much as somebody as large and clanky as me can.
I'm going to attempt it.
Okay.
Oh my copper! Wow.
What's going on?
Copper smears a bit of moss in just little bits and pieces to try and help them blend in. How?
The row got the lowest stalls.
How did the
Well,
freaking-
they're tracking. They're not paying that much attention to sneaking.
Yeah.
Following the trail that you found, you eventually come to a small clearing where you can see just a tiny sliver of smoke coming out over the treetops, and you see a series of huts, round thatched huts. In a small area, and there's a bit of movement in the area. You can hear a couple of soft voices, male voices, going about the camp. They do not seem to have spotted you.
Do you all think it might be a good idea for the guys to go ahead first?
Yeah, they might be a little skittish.
To be fair, the
Probably
males.
think girls are icky.
I mean, that's
Or even those of us who don't identify as girls, but people think are girls. Yeah, okay.
And if you want, hang on. Blip, be invisible on Copper's head. I can stay with the others and basically relay what's going on to them while you guys go forward. That way we still know what's going on, but we're not with you.
Hey, look, I even remember the NPCs with you.
good job.
Still say that
Such a
token makes
big-
him scream evil.
Duh.
What? He's just a tiny old man who's not wearing his goggles right now.
His hair needs to get maintained.
In this humidity, it's probably just even more ridiculous now.
I'm sure he's hating life.
Honestly, it's probably not as fluffy as in the picture. It's just matted by now.
Which does not help his case.
No. Now he just looks like a very grumpy old man.
I mean,
Okay.
Ziri's
Well,
going to use disguise self and make himself look like a bit something like a facsimile of man, a bit more bedraggled and disheveled.
okay. So who's approaching? Is it Copper and Ziri?
I suppose.
You
Are we
might want to
bringing
send the gnome with
others
you
as
for
well?
translation.
Excuse you, I can speak fluent Draconic now.
Haku doesn't know that.
I didn't say that. Well, yeah, I did. Damn it.
I mean, he probably does know that. He's living in the village, so he can probably tell if Copper's been talking to the villagers
In
more
Draconic.
fluently. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not that. I mean, he is paying attention to you guys. All right, so the three of you approach just brazenly, openly.
Oh, so Tahaku's not coming as well. Okay.
Well, Tahaku's a big bear.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that might cause some alarm,
Yes,
even
a
if
little bit.
pandas are not necessarily the local bear type.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm definitely gonna let Ziri do most of the talking.
Okay. The first thing you notice as you approach is that the three males that are in the like common area all look identical. And then you see initially playing relatively quiet for kids behind, like between two of the huts, kind of quiet down immediately as you all approach and just scamper into one of the huts. And they look youngish, have similar features to the older males, but are not that like identical clone like look. And the one that seems to be in charge kind of, they all go for weapons, but they see that you're not serpent whisperers and kind of hesitate. And then the main one speaks out, "Who are you and where did you come from?"
I'll just say, thank the heavens we found other people at last.
Are they speaking in Draconic, by the way?
Nope. Cool. They're speaking in common.
Cool.
So yeah, it's just, so glad to finally see other people here. Who are you all and how long have you been here?
We have lived here our whole lives. My name is 82.
82. The number 82?
Yes.
Well, I'm here. These two, we were on a ship that crashed a few months ago. This island as best we can when we came across your little settlement here.
Where have you been these 2 months?
Well, we crashed a ways west of here and have been roaming these jungles and forests for some time, it feels like. There's some other settlement elsewhere on the island. Do you know anything about that?
Give me a deception check.
Ooh.
well. Okay. I just realized I had never grabbed the sheet I'm supposed to use for these guys.
Bravo.
Alright, so he looks suspicious, and I'm just gonna put that there. He doesn't seem to be trusting what you say. No, it's impossible. The Serpent Whisperers would not have allowed you to live here for 2 months without seeking you out. You know of them. Why are you keeping this?
Yes, we do know about them, and they did in fact find us, and we've been living with them for a little bit, but we're not at the moment. We just don't know. Well, we still don't know quite what to make of them or, well, anything else about this island, it seems like.
This place holds many secrets.
So we've been seeing. I mean, we're not.
Were you sent
If
by
you're.
the Serpent Whisperers?
No, we weren't. Worried about if you're worried about them sending us to find you all, or that's not the case.
Give me a persuasion check. Doesn't seem to trust you yet, but for now he's willing to at least listen. Is it just 3 of you?
No, there are 4 others.
Let them come. I'd rather see them.
Or he'll just turn
But
around.
if I see any weapon drawn, then we will attack.
Zero just like turns around, like, all right, come on out. Don't bring any weapons, though. There seems like we've been kind of caught them on a bad day. I'm just not good at talking.
Probably both.
Probably that.
82 kind of watches everyone come over and studies you all. The Serpent Whisperers would see us all dead for daring to escape their hands. They don't seem to like free men for some reason. Not even children, and he points to where you see 3 heads peeking out of a door frame of one of the huts. We rescued these 3 when they were born. They were left to die on the cliff. For the bad luck of being born a male.
You don't know why they don't like boys.
No. I don't think they understand why they don't like men. All I know is that they treated us as slaves, and we did not like that. So we escaped. And all I remember before that is the temple. And he takes on like a kind of pensive, weird look, and then just shakes his head.
You've been inside the temple?
Yes. Though I don't remember much of my time there. All I know is that before I was a slave, I was in the temple. We were kept in rooms. We'd huddle together. And you see a couple of, like, by now there's more men showing up and just, like, keeping to the perimeter, kind of wary, looking at you guys. And they all look exactly the same, but they're different ages. All adults, but you have like younger adults, or you have like older men, like white hair, but they all look this like the same guy, but in different periods of life.
Creepy.
Well, why do you all look alike?
I don't know. That is just how we look. I thought all men looked alike until apparently some of you do look different, I guess.
Yeah, we got variety. Do you know why they like snakes so much?
Wait, they what?
Do you know why they like snakes so much?
I don't know. Something to do with their temple, probably. Have you seen the temple?
Yeah.
Full of snakes. And he's talking about the external area of the temple that looks like a bunch of snakes just writhing over each other.
Seen a big snake?
Nope. The only big thing around here is Claw.
Claw?
Who's Claw?
Claw is the one that defends us from the Serpent Whisperers.
Oh?
Large, very, very, very large lizard.
And it
Tiny hands, though.
and it defends you?
Well, I wouldn't say so much as defends us as keeps the
them away.
women away from this camp. We stay out of his territory, and he leaves us alone.
Do you know any other, like, towns, or have you ever met any kobolds or anything like that?
Kobolds don't live on this side of the mountains. They're only on the east side. Southern east side.
We are on the eastern side. Are you thinking
I meant
west? There we
Oh.
go.
Southern West.
Yeah, southwest side of the island.
Have you been way up north?
We've explored to some extent, though it is very dangerous to go near the volcano. I would not recommend going too far to the northwestern tip either.
Why?
I don't know. All I know is that the two that went there never returned. And we did not send more people.
The
We're
two?
content here as long as we stay close to the village. The only thing we ever do is go out to the Cliff of Eyes to rescue the boys.
It's the Cliff of Eyes.
It's where the females sacrifice their male sibling, their male children. Leave them there for the tides to take them away.
You mentioned two. Who exactly? Who were the ones who went there?
Two of our people.
An adult and a child, perhaps?
No.
How many children are here? Just those three?
Just those three. Let me double check something. Okay, it doesn't say. So I get to decide. Are you... Speaking of two that fled recently from the village.
If by recently you mean a few months ago.
We heard of that. But we have not been able to reach out to them.
Oh.
If I am not mistaken, and given the age, and I suspect that the male that recently escaped is the father of the 3 children here.
Do you know anything about the child?
We have not spoken to those 2. We do not often go south of the mountains, however, so if they fled in that direction, then they either find us or they may miss us and they may be dead by now.
It'd be disappointing.
So, the whole cliff thing, does it happen at a particular time of day? Is there a particular, like, time of year where it happens? Or is it just any time?
Anytime they have a male child, they leave it as a sacrifice at the Cliff of Eyes. Every so often we try to keep tabs on if this happens, and sometimes we manage to save a child. More often it gets eaten by vultures and other animals.
So it's just a cliff, it's not like a cave or anything?
Nope, it's an open cliff. Child is left exposed to the elements, newborn on a platform. Easy prey for any animal.
Okay. That's a lot.
Do you
All I
know anything about the obelisks in the Serpent Whisperer village?
know, just that they are there, that they have a light that never turns off.
That used to be the case. The light's off now.
For some reason that you think not even he understands, he looks disturbed by this. And then he kind of like shakes his head and goes, well, that should serve them right, I suppose. Those women are not exactly free of guilt.
Try to leave the island.
There is no way to leave the island. We don't have knowledge of making seafaring boats. If we tried making a raft, I'm sure we'd die out in the ocean. Besides, we don't know what there is beside this island. We've lived here our whole lives. Would you leave the security of the one solid ground you know to get lost in an eternal sea that never ends?
I mean, it does end. There are other places, just saying.
Technically, yes, because that's how I ended up on a boat.
Well, as much as you people and possibly those who have come before you, it's still too risky. At least here we live a simple life, but it is a life. We don't need much, just being away from the temple.
How'd you get out of the temple?
I don't know. That temple holds many secrets. Secrets that are... And he kind of like tilts his head. They're important to the world. But it doesn't matter. Viothe and the others, they will kill to protect those secrets. I remember a figure, a masked figure dressed in white, bringing us food. I remember hearing monsters screaming in the darkness. And he kind of shakes his head. What is your intention with finding us?
I mean, it was partially just curiosity.
I do not want the location of this village given to the Serpent Whisperers. While I know that they know we're in this area, if they find out a way to get to us in force, they will come and kill us all. We do not have the force. We do not have enough forces to keep them at bay. And he kind of like looks around. There's only 9 of us. Sorry, 8. There are only 8 of us, plus the 3 boys. They would either kill us or enslave us, but probably kill us. They would definitely kill the children.
Okay. I don't like that.
Yeah, neither do I.
We will certainly not. If we go back there, we will certainly not tell them about it here.
Good. I don't necessarily hold that much ill will to them, besides the fact that they would do this. I just want to live out the rest of my life with my friends here, without having any issues.
Sounds good.
Understandable.
So instead of okay, so you want our silence, you got that. You need anything else?
No, we have everything we need here.
Even a cat.
Yeah, they sometimes wander in. Hey, could you stop it? Why are you so clingy today? If anything, I just ask a favor. If you are living with the Serpent Whisperers and you see them have a male child, can you either save the child or let us know so we can go take him?
Yeah, I can do that.
I don't know that they would make it so obvious, but we will keep our eyes open.
Whereabouts is this Cliff of Eyes exactly?
It's to the north of the village. Northern edge of the island. So what
Did
do you
they say
intend?
like any sort of prayer or anything, or did they just leave the kid?
Depends on the female, I suppose. Most of them just leave the child there and leave. It is within their laws. They protect their laws. I really don't know why they seem to have so many issues with males. By this point, I think it's just how they are. So, What do you all plan to do next?
Continue to question everything about this island.
Yes.
Is it still like time for traveling in the day at this point, or?
You've spent about like the morning doing all this. It's probably just like noon. So you have half a day to go wherever you want to.
It's going, I suppose.
Okay.
Mhm.
And yes, these guys also have a hen house with some wild chickens and a rooster.
Ooh.
They have eggs. All right. So I'll put you guys back on the island, and maybe go myself onto the same map.
Mhm.
All right. So you have basically 2 hexes that you can travel for the rest of the day.
So, are we heading to the crash site?
I figured we would.
Then should we head that way? We're 2 hexes away from the monastery. We could stay there for the night.
That's true.
Good idea. And then like go back along the beach or
Yeah.
to the mountain.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So you go to the monastery. You know the way by now, so I'm not really going to make you roll for it this time. This is an area you've been through quite a lot. And you have now discovered one more thing about this map. And yes, they call themselves the Monstermen.
Okay.
They paint themselves like monsters when they go hunting. That's why they call themselves that.
Ah.
Alright, well, you get to the abandoned monastery, and it is still abandoned. No signs of Agni or man.
Hey, since some of us know Draconic now, like, can we read more of
Yeah.
what's going on, or
Yeah, that's
That's
a good point.
Question.
Because Copper definitely would look around now that he actually could understand more. They. And who knows, maybe we could find something that we missed before.
yeah?
Okay, so recap on what you guys found last time. There was a broken tablet which you guys spent quite a while reassembling to figure out what it had. And you identified it as a tablet that had a symbol that looked like a star made of tangled serpents.
Hmm.
Once you had reassembled the tablet and checked it out, you also realized that there had once been a secret compartment hidden in the center of the tablet, but whatever was inside was now gone.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you found was an ancient rusted breastplate armor bearing the sigil of the god Ilwyn, with a helmet with a sunrise behind it. And a few feet from the armor was a sword of Personian make, which now is held by Copper.
Yep.
I can't remember if you realized how old the sword was, but it was pretty old.
You
There
said
was no text that you could not read. Yes, yeah.
with the rusted armor, like, does it look... Could it be restored? Or is it too far damaged?
It's rusted beyond. it's rusted. It's not something that could be fixed with. Oh, cool! I just found the symbol that was on the tablet.
Oh, neat.
It looks like the kind of thing that if you do not treat carefully, will disintegrate in your hands.
Mm.
I posted it in the Discord.
Hmm.
Oh.
Also, that symbol. Do I recognize it from inside the temple? Did I ever see it when Blip was scouting?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd have to double check. It might be the same symbol that was on the like thing that you tried looking for, like a secret entrance. I'd have to double check though.
Does it look like what Ziri saw in their vision? Dream?
What Ziri saw in their dream was an actual like serpenty creature. So if anything, this would be maybe an abstraction of that.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of the not snakes.
Yeah, that's what I was considering.
All coming out of a hole in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of the like imagery that we've been seeing, we saw here before, resemble what we've seen in the temple at all?
No.
Back here?
From what you can tell, whoever made the temple and whoever made the monastery are completely different civilizations. Like the style of the architecture and everything is very different. And you had heard from Talk in the Village that this place seems to have belonged to some kind of bird folk that lived here before the Serpent Whisperers came. So this predates even the Serpent Whisperers coming to the island.
Do you think it's like, would you be willing to send Blip up to the statues? Because those were tall. Like if anything's there? Or see something?
Blip can go scout up there. See if there's anything interesting he can see from above.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also watch through his eyes just so we're both looking.
Beyond the two birds, the bird statues, which are 120 feet tall, not much. I mean, you have the bridge that seems to be in disrepair. There's not much else.
Mm-mm.
Did we ever send anything? No, we didn't send anything to look down.
That's true.
I mean, this place was made by bird people. They should have made something that's possibly only accessible through flying.
Yeah, what's under the bridge and stuff? Like,
Yeah, I'll send Blip down to scout as well, since he can fly and take a look around.
Who knows? Maybe there will be something below the temples that we couldn't see from where we were.
Okay. There is nothing of interest in this area. It's just a chasm. It's really deep. But at the very, very end, I don't know how far down Blip goes, but he eventually sees that there is just like a river at the bottom. You think that's probably where this is just a river gorge that dug deep.
It's boring.
Yeah, no.
Possibly even at some point may have been created a bit in help with like the splitting of the ground because of the volcano. But yeah, nothing else.
Well, we tried. At least we have a place to sleep for the night.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a bit more information on the whole symbol on the breastplate. Ilwyn, the symbol, the god that is depicted on the breastplate, is one of the 4 generals, which are the gods that are worshipped by the Dinzers specifically.
Oh.
So, a god worshipped by the Dinzers has their armor in a place that was made by bird people on an island that is now run by the Serpent Whisperers and is cut off from the rest of the world through magic. What the fuck is with this place?
Also, the sword is Personian, not Dinzer, so there's that too.
Oh, thanks. Add a level of what the fuck is going on here.
I mean, it could still be the sword of the same guy that had that, but yeah, the Personians are the ones that live in the Summerland, near Greatwell, and Preston's Enclave is, I believe, the main city of the Personians. And that's to the north of the Wound, so they are a different group of people, especially talking like culturally, than the Dinzers, because the Dinzers come from Odenburg, and that's to the south, past the desolation of Tamaya.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
Let's just try and get some rest. We're not gonna figure out anything else about what's going on here.
Alright, so you take your long rest, and the next day, I suppose you're going along the coast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
To navigate.
Navigation along the coast is easy enough. I don't think you really need to roll for it. You just follow the water.
Yep.
It's technically a DC 10, but at this point, I don't think
been
it's
here
worth
enough.
rolling.
Yeah.
As we're walking, I'm keeping an eye out on the ocean, just because, sure, it's only been a few days since, the crystals stopped glowing, but I'm just keeping an eye out to see if any ships are trying to come here yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sure, give me a perception check.
19.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I'll continue looking for our lost companions. Any signs of them?
Okay.
And I'd just like to look for anything that's interesting that might have washed up.
All right. You roll. You do not see any signs of companions or ships on the horizon of any kind, be it by sea or by air, since you know that that is a possibility. It takes 2 days of travel before you get to more or less what you guess is the crash site to the north. On the first day, when you're looking for a place to camp, the first place you see that looks like a nice little clear area just within the forest, you're all like, this looks like a great place to rest, until you notice that there's a bunch of tiny little 1-foot holes.
Nope.
Nope, nope, nope.
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 No.
Nope.
And you keep looking for another place that doesn't have holes in it. And then you continue the next day. You do hear a lot of baboons, and at one point they start throwing like rocks and coconuts at you as you cross the sand. But a few eldritch blasts probably send them on their way. God, you guys are gonna run into like the army of like monkeys of some kind at some point. We're
I'm.
just like pissed off at.
They were the ones who antagonized us first.
Yeah, if they just left us alone, they wouldn't have any issues.
Get your own food.
These were just having fun. They saw a bunch of people and they were like, "Yeah, let's throw things at them." And then they got
I'll
thrown
just
things
throw
back
things
at them.
back.
And they didn't like that.
Hey,
So
I
they scampered off.
deliberately don't try and hit them.
I'm gonna assume Ash was keeping an eye out to the horizon in general
Oh yeah.
during the 2 days on the beach. Just before nightfall on the second day, you believe you see something on the horizon, and best you can tell, it is too big to be a ship. It's more like possibly more land.
What?
Do you all see that?
Huh? What?
That out there. Does that look like an island?
Do islands generally move? Because that wasn't there when we got here.
It was constantly foggy and rainy when we got here.
Oh.
They got rid of the polygon reveal. I am upset. How am I supposed to reveal polygons if I can't? Alright, well, that's more or less what you can see. There's just like of another piece of land there in the distance.
Hey. Another island.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be another like piece of this one. It's kind of hard to tell.
We know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in the mood for a swim right now.
Yeah, no, neither am I.
Considering how far it is.
I guess
So,
we
like-
should just keep our eyes on it. See how close it comes.
Or
Are you
it stays there.
expecting it to move?
I don't know. Like I said, do islands move?
No.
Supposed to, but who knows with this place?
I mean, that is fair.
That's fair.
Maybe it's powered by magic crystals and will start floating towards the island.
Okay. Let's get some rest.
Alright, so you take a rest there on the beach, and the next day you have two options, I guess. One, you know the crash site is to the north, or you could continue along the beach.
Oh, we haven't explored all the beach.
Yeah, but let's explore a bit of the beach before heading towards the crash site. At least that's what I think we
Get
should
that
do.
way.
Yeah.
Okay. This is new territory, so for the heck of it, let's roll some survival.
Alright.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Yup, you can.
So how far
ranger.
north are you going? 2 squares north would get you to midday, and then you could either go 2 squares to get to the crash site, or you could continue along the beach. The beach seems to still be going north.
Beach.
So you go at this point. I think I can do this. So you travel 3 hexes north, and you get to what you think is probably the closest you can get to seeing, and now it's a bit clearer. Now that you know it's there and the day remains clear, you can see that there is another island. Um, to the southwest of the island you're on.
Hmm.
Well, that's good to know.
Do you want to keep following the beach to see just how big this place is?
Maybe for the rest of today, sure.
Mhm.
Why
Okay.
not?
So
Here it goes.
I missed the other tool, but you get about as far as there before night falls. You could continue into the night if you
Nope.
wanted to.
Not happening.
Seems like you still have some further north, but you can tell it's starting to curve towards the north, and the edge of the island.
Well, at least we did a bit more exploring.
Mm-hmm.
There's other things here that could help us out.
I just wish we could get to that island.
Me too. It's
Oh.
about what, Karu? Likely, you said 3 hexes, so almost a day's walk.
Can you walk on water?
Yeah,
I can
assuming
walk
you
on
could,
the bottom of the ocean. I don't have to breathe.
assuming you could walk along the bottom of the ocean at the same speed that you could through air, which I believe is not the case. It would take about a day to get there.
So it's probably a bit more than a day.
Yeah.
If we could get enough supplies, we could make a raft.
Making a raft, you could probably do that. You would just need to. There is quite a lot of like wave crashing against the
So
beaches.
tides.
So you'd have to fight the tide to get out there. Now, it's either that or find some place where there is a current that goes from this island to the other, which is possible just because of two islands close together like that will cause tides to move through them, and you could possibly find a location where it would be easier to make a trip on a raft.
This does look pretty close distance-wise.
I'd like to
So
know
it might be-
what's more on this island before we go to another one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a futurist puzzle.
No. And keep in mind, this area is predominantly where kobolds were. Ish. So we have to keep
Here.
ourselves open on this side of the island.
It's true. While you guys are studying this area, why don't you give me perception checks?
Okay. Heck yes.
Okay. 10. Copper and Zuri. While studying the far island, you notice that there is a thin column of smoke coming from close to, well, kind of hard to tell where, but approximately uh, on the closer side of the island across the water.
Oh. It's possible that there's a
One there.
civilization over there.
Yeah, and as it starts to get darker, because you guys basically traveled for the whole day, you think you see a dim bit of light coming from that area. So it's what you'd guess is a campfire of some kind or something else.
Huh.
That's curious.
Yeah.
I'm even more eager to get over there.
Well, you haven't traveled to the very end of this map, but that is as far as you get for the day. You take your rest, and the next day you have two options. Either continue exploring the edge of the island, or go back to the crash site.
I would like to see what's on the edge of the island. Just
I mean, that's fair.
Looks
It
like
would
this
be
is-
good to know.
that tips south. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
it's off a little bit, so go one
Okay.
north and then start working.
All right. So you continue heading north until you reach what appears to be the very tip of the island. I'm just going to be a bit generous in the reveal here. Before it basically backs down to go back towards the island. When you get to the very tip, give me perception checks.
Yeah.
Now I'm finally
Oh,
seeing
damn.
something.
Nice.
Nope.
So you're looking for some kind of way to possibly get to that island, and you've actually found it.
Oh. What?
There is a long gravel-ridden sandbar that stretches from the very tip of this island to the very tip of the other one. It is probably visible more at low tide, like you could not even get wet, and at high tide it's basically low enough that the water is low enough you can actually just walk across, maybe swimming in some places, but for the most part it's shallow water that stretches from one area to the other.
Cool.
Do we want to go to the other island?
I'm kind of tempted now that we know a way across easily.
Uh,
Do y'all want to go across? Is that what's happening?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it.
What do you think, Siri?
I feel like
Theory is a little torn just because what we came out here for, but his curiosity is definitely peaked.
What about you,
Tan?
Tan?
What about?
yeah, I'm very curious about it, but we also are kind of trying to. Obviously, we're away from Haku at this point. We're trying to like stop the signal, to make sure people don't come.
Mm-hmm. So,
It's a little time sensitive, I think.
yeah. Dang it.
Fortunately, but it is.
That's fair.
As Yuri points out, you know, as curious as that is, you know, yeah, like kind of staying on. The reason we came out here was probably the top priority. There'd be time to check that out afterwards.
Fair.
Alright. So back to the site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who's gonna break the news to Tahaku?
I was gonna say maybe we can. I don't really want to split everybody up. We might be able to use it as a distraction and send some people over with Tahaku, and send a couple people. Say we're waiting here to make sure everything's gonna be okay, and then if the crash site so that he doesn't know. That's a little risky, but we might be able to get around it.
It's unlikely that he would unless we also sent the gnome with him. And that's risky in its own way, because if we send the gnome with him, the gnome might not come back. Whether it be because Tohaku decided to bury him, or because the gnome decided to run away again. More likely the former than the latter.
I mean, Tohaku, our gnome buddy, both could go to the island with a couple of us, but like I could go to the island and then, I don't know, one other person, and then maybe Copper and 2 other people can go find the distress signal thing. I'm suggesting Copper because I'm assuming you maybe know how to turn it off without smashing it. Unless smashing is the way to go, then any of us could do that.
I mean, I could probably figure it out. Smashing would be the last resort.
Okay.
It's magical. I might be able to find it.
You know that the Odumbergite does have a magical aura to it because it is a magical crystal, but you have to be able to, like, so you could sense it at the very least.
Yep.
As long as it's not, like, buried too deep for detect magic to not pick it up. Or if it's, like, covered in metal or something. There's a lot of ways to stop detect magic.
Oh, I've got something. I've got something a little stronger.
Locate object.
There's also ways to stop that too.
So who's going where?
I'll go towards the crash site.
Will I?
Michelle, we couldn't hear you.
Go to the island.
I'll go to the island.
And I'll go to the crash site.
Okay, so it's Ash and Zen with Tohaku who are crossing to the island.
And Orner.
And Warner.
Because there's no way that Tohaku would let Orner go anywhere but with him.
Fair enough. Okay. So those are the 4 that are crossing. Okay. So, are you waiting for low tide to cross?
It might be safer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Especially
would
since
like to.
3 of them are shorties. Am I wrong?
3?
Yeah. Tan, Zen, and Orner.
Wait, I thought Tan was going to...
Oh, sorry, Tan
Yeah.
is not.
That's
Sorry.
why I was
Right.
like, I'm not short.
Yep.
And then can we agree to meet on the island if everybody is not hostile? Just meet you over there? Or do we want to meet back here on the beach?
It'd be a better idea to meet back at the beach because we don't know how long it's going to take us to find this thing.
Okay. So are you planning on, like, going,
We should also.
seeing each other in, like, 2 days or something?
I mean, we should also have a thing in case, like a signal to let us know when it's good to come back. Maybe like a signal fire or something.
Just make a fire on the beach the night that
That's
you're
what I
good to
meant.
go. Yeah.
Yep, that's the. Okay, it's done. We're good. You can come back now.
Alright.
Maybe leave one of them behind.
I will point out the one we want to leave behind, well, at least you do, is the Serpent Whisperer, and if we come back without him, we'll be killed.
I never said that was the one I prefer to leave behind.
I thought you liked Tohaku.
I do, but at the same time, I'm like, he's military. I don't want to go back with him.
But he's not the one who wants to take you apart.
He's the one who would probably hand me over to the people who would take me apart. So, less inclined. At least I think that Orner would be more likely to be patient or potentially work with me if he felt that I wasn't going to give the Dinzers other shit. Because fuck that.
Alright. So, the 4 that are crossing, you wait for the low tide and then start crossing. And about halfway there, you realize that this is a long way to walk, and you're not going to make it there before the tide comes in. And do you want to make any preparations as you see that the ocean is starting to encroach on you with increasingly crashing waves that kind of swamp you as the waves start covering the sandbar?
Tahaku's really heavy, right? It's not just fluff, right?
No, he's pretty heavy. He is a muscular man.
Okay, do you want to be our anchor? Just to be sure we can tie to each other to make sure no one gets swept away?
Yeah, sure.
Also,
I can tie Orner's.
Tohaku left the bunny with the others, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because I don't want the bunny dying of a heart attack from getting wet.
Or, drowning.
No, it would be dying from a heart attack from getting wet.
Yeah, probably.
For those listening, do not give your rabbits a bath. It will kill them.
He probably didn't think of it at first because, you're crossing when it's dry. But, just in case. It's easier to just leave him with the other group. And he probably spends 10 minutes giving instruction to Ziri, who absolutely knows how to handle animals. About every single thing that he does for Bunny, some of which are probably bad for the bunny, but he doesn't realize that because he's not trained in animal handling.
Also, he likes pets here, but not here.
Okay. All right. So you all tie yourselves to both of you and Orner tie yourselves to Haku. Man, that's putting a lot of pressure on Tahaku if someone gets washed away, so that not all of you are washed away.
I'm going to point out my strength is a 9, and the other 2 people are small. I trust Tahaku more than myself.
That's fair.
Were you going to say something, Michelle?
Is it really soft sand? Or
yeah, it's a sandbar. It's not. From what you can tell, there's basically the ocean is coming from both sides when the tides come in, so it pushes the sand, and that's what's made the sandbar because it's getting pushed from both sides. And the reason that's why it's just mostly sand. Because anything that was here that wasn't sand was probably broken to bits by the force of the waves meeting during high tide. Or, when the high tide is coming in, basically. I know how this works, because I lived in Panama for 4 years. I've actually crossed the sandbar like that when the tide was coming in. It is terrifying.
You had a really weird childhood.
At least it was terrifying for little me, because, we were on the edge, and the water was not coming up more than my knees, and it was still kind of scary. So at first it's just water, and you have to keep your feet, and as long as you have the rope, you manage to continue onwards and press forward. You're about it's the last hour where things get rough, because the sandbar is now for the people who are less than 3 feet tall, you're swimming. And basically holding on to Tahaku, who is pushing forward, because he can still reach the sand in the bottom. And you're all trying to swim just to keep from pushing him. Which means I have to roll. See how well it does.
Yep.
Luckily, this bear has a lot of strength. It gets a bit scary for a bit. At some points, you guys are covered by water, but manage to, because of the line holding you, manage to hold on and keep up long enough to gather air. And Tahaku eventually reaches the other side and drags at least the two smaller ones out of the water, helping Ash as well. Ash, you probably at some points felt like someone was trying to strangle you, and then you probably tried to order Blip to maybe fly above you instead of stranglehold you.
It was either Blip, fly above me, or I'm going to desummon you for the time being. Take your pick.
Just clinging to you. I do not like this.
Meanwhile,
Until
Ash
you
is getting
finally-
strangled by something invisible and no one else can see. Blip is terrified.
Yep. But you managed to make it to the tip of the island. And by this time, it is dark. You can see in the distance a light of a campfire. And you are all probably shivering because now that night has fallen, it's getting cooler. You've got the wind off the ocean. And what do you want to do?
Do we want to head to the fire?
Sure. While we do that, I'm just gonna start drying myself with prestidigitation, because I don't want to be soaked. Because, like, no thank you, it's cold.
Okay. So you start heading towards it, and it's pretty far away. You think it's going to take you a couple, like maybe 2 hours to get to it. Are you guys, how are you approaching? Just brazenly? Are you looking around? Are you being cautious?
I'm gonna send Blip ahead. See what's there.
Okay. Well, 2 hours is a bit far for your companion.
Yeah, I'm
But-
just making sure he's ahead of us, so if he sees something, he can let me know before it reaches us.
Okay. Give me a... well, he's actively looking, I guess. Give me a perception check for Blip.
He doesn't have a bonus to perception, so I'm just doing a wisdom. 13.
I rolled wrong.
And I will point out the darkness means absolutely nothing to him.
It's true. Alright. So he continues in front of you, and the four of you continue onwards, wishing you had a towel, or at least that the wind would die down. You know the wind dies down, it just hasn't yet. What's your marching order?
If you guys want, I can lead since I can see in the dark pretty damn well.
Then I'll be behind. I'll be behind Ash.
Alright, then Tahaku will bring up the rear since he wants to keep an eye on the gnome. Alright, Ash, what's your passive perception?
14.
You keep heading towards the firelight in the darkness. And Ash, you're pretty certain that your familiar will alert you to any issues and continue walking through the forest. Blip hasn't spotted anything when suddenly the ground below you gives way. And you fall into a pit trap.
Ow.
Oh my god. This is where the kobolds are.
You take 9 piercing damage, both from the fall and the spikes that greet you on the way down.
Ow.
Then you notice that, yes, there was a covered pit trap, and your friend just disappeared in front of you, and you look down, and she is in a 10-foot hole lined with spikes.
Crap. I asked Tahaku if we can, like, lower some rope, and can you climb?
Give me a moment, but sure. Also, Blip, you're an asshole for not pointing this out.
Blip complains that he saw nothing. It's meant to be a trap. You can't see. You just didn't see it. Okay. Tahaku lowers the rope. Climb it.
I'm going to try. Ash just
Nod, we'll help. We'll help.
Ash just looks at the rope for a minute, is like, "This is gonna suck," and then tries climbing.
All right.
We'll help, and we're helping her.
Pulling from.
Yeah.
Give me an athletics check with advantage.
Oh my god!
Good thing I had advantage.
Because you would have passed the
0.
Oh god.
0. So instead, it's an 11.
Okay, well, you don't fall down on the spikes again, and manage barely to get to the top with the help of the others, and they pull you up to the side, and Orner looks at the trap because that's pretty decently built.
Yeah, it also hurts a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, it looks nasty. Zen, give me an investigation check. Okay, it's a pit trap. It's pretty well constructed.
Brat.
Tahaku kind of like helps patch up or at least bind your wounds. He goes, we should probably be a bit more alert moving forward.
Yeah.
Whoever lives here seems to like protecting themselves.
Yeah. I can tell.
All right. We will go back to the second group. Who's leading the way to the crash site?
Well,
Okay. Give me a survival check.
I'll aid.
team.
Okay. You travel into the forest, and since you're coming from an area that you do not know,
Hey.
by the time you think that you should have seen this crash site already, you realize that you're not really sure where you are anymore, except that you're surrounded by forest and are lost.
Great. Awesome.
As you are trying to figure out where you are, there is a noise in the bushes as you are attacked.
Before this happens, Ziri's like, well, I'm sure the others can't be doing any worse than us.
You'd be surprised.
Where did my random encounter map go? There it is. All right, so we have. I'm just going to leave them on the map because I don't know if you can see if I delete your tokens, but I'm just going to put you off to the side. Chook.
Kari, you're muted.
How did you?
You guys can place yourselves however you want. I don't know how you were traveling.
I mean, Copper wouldn't have been that far from.
All right.
Copper probably would have been over there, actually. Well,
All right, let's roll some initiative.
lizards. Four of them? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, Copper.
Wrong button.
That's what you want to do.
Maybe.
Worked well last time. All right.
Sigh.
They go first.
Not all of them. Leave the little one alone.
Oh boy. They don't
Why
have
does it-
advantage.
So it's even worse.
I'm gonna assume an 8 misses.
Does.
And the other one goes after Siri with a 9.
Oh, that's
I
wonderful.
continue rolling. Great. 10.
Really?
Ouch.
Mm.
God dang it.
I can only roll 2 things, below a 10 or a nat 20.
Could you
So
not, please?
you take 9 piercing damage as the lizard finally manages to bite down on you.
And then realizes, oh, this is not flesh.
Not you, Copper.
Oh, oh.
Me.
Yeah,
thought
they
it was
went after
Oak.
the tiny one.
Little
Well,
tiny morsel
that
that's
was a-
always getting eaten.
that was a stupid idea.
All right, Siri.
Okay. This is a problem. Okay. Cast Moonbeam. Center it. It'll hit the 2 thirds by 10 copper.
Is Moonbeam that big? I thought it was a 5-foot square.
I
It's
think
a
10.
5-foot radius.
A 5-foot radius, yeah.
Oh, radius.
Good.
Ignore the foot high, 40 foot, 5 foot wide, 40-foot high cylinder.
Oh.
So it's 5 foot wide, not radius.
Well, it's a 5-foot radius, 40-foot high.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what the actual. I know I have Moonbeam in here somewhere. Where the hell did it go? Oh, there it is. And that is on their turn, or is it?
At the start of their turn, they have to make Constitution con
Constitution.
saves.
Okay. All right, cool.
It's half damage if they. And then he's just gonna move.
All right, Tam.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a superiority die to use evasive footwork. But I have an armor class of 17, until the end of my turn. And I am going to try to move probably a little farther back. Please not die.
Yeah, please don't.
That's the proper size. There we go. All right.
Huh.
Wait, sorry, I missed that. What did you do? What was the D8 for?
I
Karu.
used a superiority die to add that to my armor class and move away from them, but they both get
Okay. Awesome.
attacks.
Sorry, I was resizing the moonbeam.
It's fine.
Maybe.
Let's see what happens. 11 and 11. I think you're good.
Okay. And then I'm going to use my short bow to shoot the one next to Copper.
Okay.
4 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
8 piercing damage.
All right.
Good, good. All right. I think we all know where this is going. It's
Is
gonna
it
be
violence?
yes. They started it. 22.
Hits.
That hit. Okay. 8 slashing and 1 psychic. And then my bonus action for a 15
Hits.
for another 7.
It goes from being upset and regretting its life choices to being dead.
Cool. And then I'm just gonna be. Oh wait, that would put me inside the moonbeam. I'm just gonna kind of go there. So I'm in between.
And you could go there. That's not moonbeam. The moonbeam is inside the circle.
Oh,
You'd be
okay.
on the very edge of it, but
Yeah, okay. So maybe they have a harder time hitting me because I'm glowing and they're not used to light. I don't know. Done.
no,
Yeah, I know.
you're pushing it.
I know.
All right. Well, this one's going to. Oh, but if it goes that way, let's go there.
Ah, of course.
And it is going to go after Ziri. Or not. All right. So this one has to roll a con save. $15.
That was the DC.
That makes it.
That's
Does it
my
take
DC.
half damage or is it no damage on a save?
It's half. It takes
So
4.
It doesn't like this. It is gonna move out of the moonbeam.
Oh, that's not. Oh, it's still in my range.
Yeah, no, it's just getting out of the light. Light's bad. Light hurts. And then it's going to bite Copper.
Ow. Yes.
19.
Mm-hmm.
Chomps at your metal casing for 4 piercing damage.
Rude.
Leaves little like holes in the metal. More like dents, probably.
Gents, my armor isn't that weak.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh yeah, they can get advantage just by going there. On Ziri.
Really?
Yeah, because they're large creatures. That still counts as flanking.
Oh.
So that's going to be 9 piercing damage. That's the advantage of being big.
Okay. Beam stays up.
Cool. And the last one is Ziri.
Oh, yeah, I don't like this.
You do have
I'm
control of the moonbeam now, so if you need to move it.
going to use my action to.
I'll make it a template so you can pull it out in the future.
I'm going to move it so it's on top of those two.
Okay. many regrets are had.
On their side, and probably a few on my side too. I'm going to stay where I am, however. I don't want to
Good
get
call.
2 opportunity attacks trying to run away. I use my bonus action to turn invisible.
All right. So you disappear and leave some very confused lizards.
Remember that show.
Tam.
Excellent.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot the one that's like directly in front of Ziri.
Okay.
Me too.
22 hits.
Piercing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stay where I am.
Okay. Copper.
Okay, now is this in the moonbeam or no?
No, the moonbeam is just 2x2 squares,
3,
so it's
4,
literally
5.
just inside the.
Go. I'm just gonna be a pest. Maybe they'll go after me instead of the squishier people. Do I have advantage on that?
Yes.
Cool. Pest. 17
17 hits.
for 11 total damage, 7 of it slashing, 4 of it psychic.
You killed it.
Cool. Awesome. And then I'm just gonna swing around to the other one with my bonus action.
Okay.
Ooh, I don't have advantage, but 26.
26 hits.
For 10.
Ooh. Wow. All right. Cool.
Yeah. And then I was over here, wasn't I? So
Mm-hmm.
I can move one more closer too. Make it have regrets.
All right. So this one is, since it's big one, the big one disappeared. It's going to go after Tan. Without advantage, so that's a 7. Let's turn that off. And the other one is going to go after Copper. Oh, wait. Con save first. 17.
Still takes.
Takes 9.
Oof.
Okay.
Still dies.
It still dies.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
That
love
was an amazing roll for Moonbeam. Holy shit.
Yes, I don't think I've ever seen it get that high.
All right. Well, Ziri, you now appear again, or is it at the end of your turn? I can't remember.
I reappear. My turn.
Okay.
Okay. It's a point blank shot, so I'll be disadvantaged. I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt at it.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh,
The
Point
9
blank
hit it.
did
so
not.
there.
Yeah, that misses.
All right. Oh, I will stay where I am.
Okay. Keeping Moonbeam up as well.
Yes.
All right. So you're done. And Tam.
I'm gonna try the same thing. I'm gonna send superiority die to add
ooh.
8 to my armor class. My armor class is now 23.
Oh
my God.
Geez, even on a max roll, it's good.
Wow, Karu.
Ow.
Well, at least it wasn't a crit.
Yep, that's true.
Oh, but you maxed
Ow.
it. That's so cruel. Copper is not happy
hurts.
with this thing. Oh shit, I've been gaining.
Takes a good chunk out of you.
Huh? And I'm gonna shoot it with my short bow.
Okay.
Try to. At 22.
That hits.
6 piercing.
All right.
Move a little bit further away.
I mean, that's fair.
All right. And whose turn is it? Copper.
Yep. I'm sure you knew exactly what was coming up with this. So I'll turn advantage back on. Why did you skip?
Accident.
That was my bad. I think we hit it at the same time.
So 19 for this one
All right.
for a total of 14 damage.
Copper, the one that finishes things off.
Hey, I didn't just finish things off. I mean, yeah, okay. And then I'm just going to spend 3 of my soul fragments to focus, and I will regain 1d8 plus my con mod, so 1d8 plus 2.
All right.
Top myself off.
So it's getting dark, and you're having to find somewhere to rest. You have not found the crash site. You're not quite sure where you are, except somewhere near the crash site.
And I wish we had our ranger. Well, I guess we're gonna have to find a good place in this area to rest. I am gonna probably tear off one of the teeth of this one in particular.
Ziri, why don't you give me a survival check to see if you can find a good location to rest without getting
I
attacked.
am going to aid again. Oh, never mind.
There we go.
Somebody's
Well,
tired.
Tired, but also worried because Tan is not looking all that great.
I'll cast
Ooh,
give her the whole 10.
what? You cut out for like most of that.
You cut out for what you cast.
I'm casting Goodberry.
Oh,
And all 10.
Basically,
Okay.
shove all 10 berries down your throat.
midnight snack.
It's always curious because, like, one good berry is supposed to feed you for a day. What happens if you eat 10?
You're not hungry for a week or more.
You just feel like you've had, like, a feast. You know, like when you go to, like, family meetings where, like, there's a shit ton of food and then you
Yes.
just want to just go into food coma afterwards.
Yep.
Just having
You
a
could have
roll
just
thing
said
at this
Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving. Here's the cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
And a lot of pierogies.
Oh yeah. It might have a little rum in it. Just saying.
All right. So you managed to find a good place to sleep and rest for the night. So that counts as a short rest in terms of you can also spend hit dice if you need that. So you get 10 hit points from the good berries plus whatever you want to roll from there. And all right, let's skip back to the others who are not lost because they have a light to follow. Mainly because of the light, possibly. But all right, so you make it closer to the camp. What you see is a bamboo lean-to built among the trees. Just inside the tree line. There's outside of it, like close to it, what looks like a small table, a few crates, and you see a woman stirring a pot over a fire that has been built in a way to stop as much smoke from coming from it as possible. And you hear at this point, are you guys stealthing? It is dark.
I think so. Just to be on the
Okay.
safe side. What do you think?
Good try.
All right, so roll me some stealth checks. Let's see if you.
Boar.
All right, cool. So you sneak up on it, and despite some people rolling pretty low, Orner rolled an 8. I just have his set to whisper. You do not alert the camp, or at least
Not the boar.
not the boar. Where's her information? I just need to check her passive perception because she's working on food. Okay. That's a mixed. Okay. So the boar doesn't seem to notice you. You hear this like and see this rather large boar just laying down, supposedly alertly looking at the tree line and scanning right across you guys without noticing. Kind of like, you've seen guard dogs. This looks like a guard dog, except it's the boar. Could you not, cat, please? And then the woman that is preparing food kind of perks up slightly as Orner kind of gets closer to you guys and crack on a dry branch, and she turns and you can see one hand still like pretending to be like cooking, but the other one is definitely going for a weapon that's beside her. And she goes, "Who's there?" in Draconic.
I know tourist Draconic, so I'll step forward and be like, "Hello? We're friends. We're not here to fight."
You're also bloodied.
Yes.
I will decide whether you are friends or not. Who are you? Where have you come from?
Ash is just like, how do I say sandbar in Draconic? Orner, help. I don't know how to explain this in Draconic.
Orner kind of chuckles, but moves forward and goes, "We crossed the sandbar from the main island." But before that, we came as survivors of a crash. And you recognize at least survivors in crash.
Yeah, those things. That's us. Also,
She looks older. She's got graying hair held back, and she's got like a bandana that completely covers the forehead area tied behind her head. So she looks at you all and goes, "So, crash survivors. And you found my island first. Curious."
Not first.
No? What else have you uncovered?
we've been exploring a lot.
All this time you see the boar is just like bristling and like has already put himself between this woman and you. And well, if you do not come to make problems, I suppose at the very least you can stay here for the night. And she puts a hand on the boar and goes, "It's okay, Nup Nup."
Nope, nope. Love it.
Oh my god.
Must protect.
And the boar just like kind of moves to sit beside her and just glaring at you all.
God, that's so cute.
Kid, we find out. Zenbrix. Oh no.
My name is Scodia.
I'm Ash.
Oh no. Michelle's cam froze.
Oh no.
No, we're good.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, whereby? Come on, please.
You're good.
Good. She looks you all over, sees that Ash is wearing some slightly bloody bandages, kind of smiles slightly. I see you found some of my traps.
Oh, they were yours. They're very effective. They really hurt. Good job.
Sometimes pirates find this island. I
Pi-
need to protect myself.
Pirates?
Not to mention, I do not want people from the mainland coming here.
Zenfax is just going to point toward the island that they came from. It's like, aren't you worried about them?
Yes, that's also why I have traps.
Oh.
As far as you can tell, she seems to dress and look pretty close to the Serpent Whisperers, like her style of dress in general.
Are you a serpent whisperer?
Yeah, that's the other thing. You also notice that her arm, one of her arms is in a sling.
Could she cook?
She was just holding a spoon with that arm, for the most part, I guess. I forgot about the sling.
That's what I thought.
I used to be a serpent whisperer.
Used to be.
You are aware of the serpent whisperers. You have
Yeah.
dealt with them?
Yeah, they made us deal with them.
As they do any who come to the island and survive.
How
What?
did you get here?
I broke the laws and was exiled. I came here to distance myself from them. My sister and I, we did not agree on things.
Who's your sister?
Give me an insight check.
Oh man.
Can I do
You
one
can-
too?
Yeah, you can do that.
I swear, if it's the village leader.
Probably.
Garbage.
I like how out of character you immediately know.
Yep.
Zen, you do notice a liking of her now that she mentions sister and you're like thinking of things through. She looks a bit like Viothe, and then she confirms that by saying Viothe.
She's still in charge.
What?
So
Then that means that they are still enslaving the men.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is what we disagreed on.
Why do they do it?
I think, and this is just something in our past. My sisters were hurt by men, so they vowed not to treat with them. But that was generations ago. Long enough, I do not know the exact truth. But my people are too foolish and stubborn, too conservative of their ways to even think with their own minds of what they're doing. They just follow blindly the tenets of the past, of those who came before us, without thinking.
Big one. Free thought.
I don't feel I wish I could change them, but I cannot. And they did not want me there, so here I am. And I have since been trying to get off this island. I know there are more places in the world than this island, and to that end, I will leave it.
Got that common. About that temple.
What of it?
Up with it. What's up with the temple? What's up with this island?
How much have
What
you
would
found
I?
out?
What would you say if I told you the lights went out?
The temple's lights have gone out.
Yeah. So what's up with this temple?
Were you ever the leader? Did you ever go in the temple?
I was a key holder, yes. Though I never descended more than the second level. Only those that have the key can enter the temple.
I mean, you've obviously seen way more than us then. Yeah.
You do not want to go down there. There are many monstrous creatures
But
that walk the halls.
don't the men come from there?
Yes. Once in a while, a man will come up through the elevator shaft. I don't think she uses that word, but that's pretty much the translation that Orner gives you. I believe they come from deeper, and I have never gone that low.
Why provide random men who all look the same to you?
I don't know. Viothe and the others say that it is just a gift from our god, Grihu. A gift so that we may procreate as part of the agreement that was made when we began living here. The temple would provide us males so that we could have children, and in return, we would protect them. That God is also the one that gave us all the knowledge we needed to live there. Whatever it was, we do not have written stories, just words. So what the truth is behind all those tales, I do not know.
Why is it a problem that the lights went out?
The lights protected the secrets of the temple from the rest of the world. That much I know. If the lights have gone out, then the protections that the island had that kept everyone from finding it are gone. And our wisdom says that there are many who would search for it and use it for their own terrible needs.
You know the small holes that have snakes living in them? Do you know what's up with those? They seem weird, like they never come out from their holes. Do you know what's up with them?
No. All I know is that my people worship those snakes, and any who are attacked or eaten by them are just considered tribute.
Can I just say your island is very weird?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure I will find your island very weird when I get there. Wherever you are from.
I'm not from an island.
Are you not?
No.
Then where are you from? Are you from the ocean?
No, I'm from a continent.
Well, what is a continent?
Huge, 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 huge land.
Is it surrounded by water?
Eventually.
But there are
So-
multiple different countries in that continent, therefore it is not an island, because it is not one thing.
Piece of land surrounded by water?
Yeah.
Is that not what an island is?
I think it has to do with size. Orner, you can explain this better. What's the difference between a continent and an island?
He's just enjoying this too much.
Mhm.
I know there's a difference. I just don't know what it is.
Off the top of my head, I think the only difference is the size.
I know there's something else criteria-wise. I just can't remember what it is. But anyways, so yeah, the lights went out 6-7 days ago, right?
Yeah, just about. Do you know what else is on the island?
There are many things on the island. I can't say I have traveled all of it.
Oh, we found like the weird monastery with the bird statues. And we found the volcano.
And the weird thing there.
Actually, I think I know what separates a continent from an island, and it is very kind of silly. I think it has to do with oceans. If there's different oceans on different sides of it, then it is big enough to be considered a continent and not an island.
Huh.
So if the island separates two oceans, then it is considered a continent and not an island.
Ah.
Australia is Pacific and Indian Oceans.
I believe so.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
though Australia is relatively small, it's still separating two oceans. So it's a
Mhm.
continent.
Okay. So, yeah, now that we've got that settled, in the morning, do you, like, want to stay here? Do you want to come with us?
I am in the process of building a raft to sail off this island. Unfortunately, and she kind of lifts the splint, I injured myself. So I have not been able to continue building it until I heal.
I think you're going to need a bigger raft. Or more like a boat.
I will show you the raft in the morning, she says.
Okay.
Cool. I'm gonna go sleep.
All right. And she doesn't have much to offer in terms of food, but you guys also have your rations, which are possibly a bit salty now that you've had a swim in the ocean. But you take your rest, and the next day, I'm going to end with just the next day. Skodia takes you to where she is building the raft, and she calls it a raft, and it is technically a raft, but we're talking about like, think the like raft that Moana uses to move across the ocean. It's got like the beginnings of a sail. Like she's been making a sail, and it looks big enough to hold 3 to 4 people. So it is absolutely a seaworthy raft. It's not just like across from one island to another raft. We're talking. She's actually building something that could work too, like
a catamaran.
Yeah, like a catamaran. It looks like she knows what she's doing, and it's why it's taking her so long to make. The raft looks like if you guys helped her, you could get it seaworthy in 2 weeks.
But we have a much bigger group.
Yeah. So this would only fit 3 to 4 people.
Is that including Nub Nub or not including Nub Nub?
No, that includes Nub Nub.
Okay.
So, yeah, she made it big enough for her and Nub Nub to fit on it and have plenty of space to spare for supplies and so on, because she does not know how far the land is. So she's banking on just getting enough stuff, and including fresh water, because that's one of the big things, to make it as far out as possible. But that's where we're going to end the session.
Woo! No one died!
No one died. Some people got injured, either by bites or falling into traps.
Listen, Lip should have warned me.
I think that's the second pit Ash has fallen into.
Yes.
Yep.
At least it didn't take 3 turns to get out this time.
It's true.
Ash has bad luck with pits.
Apparently. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on Friday, I guess, where we'll have probably our first session of Madness in over a month. So look forward to that.
Bye!
Bye!
Bye, everyone.
See ya.